Some musicians are remembered for fame, some for fortune. Ronnie Lane is remembered for his heart. His life was a story of melody and modesty. A man who believed music was more about friendship than glory. His dad once told him, "If you learn to play an instrument, learn to play the guitar, son, because you'll always have a friend." This is the Ballad of Ronnie Lane. Ronald Frederick Lane was born on April 1st, 1946 in East London. His father, a lorry driver, worked long hours while his mother held the household together. Ronnie grew up in a working class world, tight-knit, scrappy and full of music from the radio. He picked up the guitar in his teens, self-taught at first, but driven. At 16, he met a young guitarist named Steve Marriott in the music shop. Marriott sold him his first bass guitar. Within weeks, the two decided to start a band together. Marriott on guitar and vocals, Lane on bass, Kenny Jones on drums, and later Ian McLagan on keyboards, they became the Small Faces. Signed in 1965, they exploded onto the British mod scene. Lane's solid, melodic bass lines gave the band punch, but he was more than a player. He was a songwriter. With Marriott, he co-wrote the early hits like All or Nothing and the psychedelic classic Itchy Coo Park. Unlike many bands of the era, the Small Faces didn't just churn out disposable pop. Their 1968 album, Ogden's Knock on Flake, became a psychedelic landmark. Lane's fingerprints were all over it, quirky, melodic and deeply English. But the band's days were numbered. Marriott, frustrated and ambitious, quit in 1969 to form Humble Pie. For Lane, it was both a loss and an opportunity. The Small Faces morphed into the Faces when Ronnie Wood and Rod Stewart joined. Suddenly, the quiet East End boy was in one of the loudest, rowdiest bands of the 70s. Stewart, with his raspy vocals and magnetism, drew the spotlight. Lane, meanwhile, contributed soul. His song Debris, a gentle reflection on his father and family, was the heart of the Faces catalogue. It was the worlds away from their whiskey-soaked party image and proof that Lane's songwriting carried a unique depth. Still, tensions grew. Stewart's solo career was exploding and Lane felt increasingly sidelined. In 1973, weary of the circus, Lane walked away. Unlike many rock stars, he wasn't chasing arenas, he wanted community, he wanted honesty. Lane's next project was Slim Chance, a revolving cast of musicians who blended folk, rock and roots. They scored modest hits with How Come and The Poacher, songs brimming with warmth and storytelling. But it wasn't just about records. Lane envisioned something radical, a passing show. Inspired by the old travelling circuses, he brought tents, caravans and took Slim Chance on the road, literally. They played in fields, on fairgrounds, under canvas, bringing music to the people outside the big cities. Financially, it was a disaster. Spiritually, it was pure Ronnie Lane. He turned his back on stadiums to play for the villages, strangers and anyone who'd listen. By the late 1970s, Lane's health began to falter. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a cruel degenerative disease. For a musician who thrived on movement and camaraderie, it was devastating. But Ronnie Lane was never one to wallow. Instead, he leaned on his philosophy. Music meant friendship, and fellow musicians rallied around him. In 1983, the legendary ARMS concerts were held in his honour, with Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and countless others raising money for MS research. Lane himself appeared on stage, his body failing, but his spirit radiant. The rock world loved him, not for his fame, but for his kindness. Seeking relief from his illness, Lane moved to Texas in the mid-1980s, where the dry climate eased some of his symptoms. He continued recording when he could, often with the help of friends. Despite his struggles, those around him remember his humour, humility and warmth. He never complained, never envied others' success. He simply lived quietly, surrounded by music and love. Ronnie Lane sadly passed away on June 4th, 1997, at the age of 51. He left no fortune, no empire, but he left a songbook filled with sincerity. Today, Ronnie Lane is remembered as the heart of every band he touched. His writing wasn't about rock star posturing, it was about life, love and the fleeting beauty of simple things. His ballads stand as proof that sometimes the quietest voice in the room carries the most lasting weight. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this glimpse into the life of the quiet genius that was Ronnie Lane. Hit like and subscribe and put any suggestions you'd like to see in the comment section below. This has been Signals of Sound, tuning out.